We are heading towards another different topic of your cost accounting syllabus, which is a different technique of controlling the cost, and that is budgetary control. We have already discussed one topic based on cost control, that is your standard costing, where some standards are kept as a benchmark, and every time your actual gets compared with the standard in order to find out any variation if there exists in terms of cost structure. Now, this is also another technique of controlling the cost, where everything is based on budgets. Now, budget means estimation. Budgets means estimation, and estimation means forecast. Okay, you decide something about the future, you estimate something about the future, and you make plans accordingly. And when you do that in numeric terms, that is called as budget. Keep it simple. That means it is about estimation, it is about future, it is about future cost. That means it is about estimated cost structure. What your cost will be is your budget. What your cost will be is your budget. And budget is kept as a benchmark. And whenever you incur actual cost, that actual cost is compared with a budgeted cost in order to find out whether there is a variation or not. Like for example, I plan that my material cost should be 10 per unit. When my material cost will be 10 per unit, and if I start producing the product and I realize it has gone to 11 rupees per unit, I realize that something has gone wrong. I can always come back and change it, because I have that benchmark that my cost will be 10. That's what my plan was, but now it is 11. Okay, it has gone up. We'll do something. We can take some remedial action, perpetual remedial action, so that the cost should not go up, or the cost will not go up. So that is a basic objective of budgetary control. What are we supposed to do in this topic? That is much more important as a student of cost accounting at CA inter level. We are not supposed to take any decision. We are not supposed to decide anything. We are just supposed to prepare different types of budgets. We are just supposed to prepare different types of budgets, and we have already discussed different types of budgets in the course of classwork. We have solved questions based on hypothetical data. We have also solved questions which were asked in the exam. We have already covered study material in a much depth. We have also covered a few questions where you start with budgetary control and you merge that with marginal costing and all. Today we'll solve a few additional questions in order to revise whatever we have done earlier. Okay, so my first category of budgets is fixed and flexible budget today. When you prepare budget for more than one level of activity, it becomes a flexible budget. When you prepare budget for only one level of activity, it becomes a fixed budget. If you are preparing budget only at 80% capacity utilization level, it becomes a fixed budget. But if I'm preparing budget at 5 different levels, say 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, I want 5 different levels budget which is required to be prepared, then in that case that becomes a flexible budget. So trust me guys, calculation wise there won't be a difference. Calculation wise there won't be a difference. The only difference will be in terms of presentation. If you have only one level of activity is fixed, if you have 2 or more than 2, it becomes a flexible budget. Now what are we supposed to understand? There is a basic crux required to be understood when it comes to fixed and flexible budget. You should be very clear about bifurcation of cost. you should be very much clear about three different classifications of cost. One is variable in nature, second one is fixed in nature, and the third one is semi-variable in nature. First one is variable in nature, second one is fixed in nature, and third one is semi-variable. Now your variable cost is something that changes with quantity. I'm not using the word production here because commission is a cost that doesn't change because of change in the output or quantity. It changes only because of sales quantity. More you sell, more is the commission to be paid. Less you sell, less is the commission is to be paid. So I'm not getting into production and all. I'm giving you a general definition. It's something that changes with the change in the quantity. You increase quantity, cost goes up. You decrease quantity, cost goes down. Fixed cost is always constant. It is always constant. That means you increase quantity or you decrease quantity, that doesn't have any impact. That doesn't have any impact on the cost structure. Cost remains constant. The simple reason is it is always incurred for a specific period of time. I pay rent today. My next rent will be paid next month, irrespective of what I'm producing, what I'm selling. If I'm paying salary today, my next salary will be paid next month, irrespective of the quantity manufactured and sold. If I'm charging depreciation, if I'm paying insurance premium, that cost will be incurred irrespective of what you are producing or whether you are producing or you're not producing. But in case of a variable cost, it is completely dependent on the product, so it is also known as a product cost. So variable cost is a product cost, but fixed cost is period cost. And there is one specific feature about fixed cost is, in case of a fixed cost, your total cost is always constant. Rent is never per unit, depreciation cannot be per liter, and salary cannot be per student. It will always be per month, per annum, per quarter, per 6 months. That depends on the agreement of rent and all. But it is always based on period cost, and therefore the total cost is constant. But in case of variable cost, CPU is constant. Like for example, 1 unit requires 2 kgs of material. 1 unit requires 2 kgs of material. 1 kg cost you 100 rupees. 100 rupees per kg is the price of material. That means 1 unit will require 200 rupees. 1 unit cost you 200 rupees. What if I produce 10 units? I will need 20 kgs of material. The rate will be same. So the moment I increase my production 10 times, my cost is also 10 times. When I increase production by 9 units, my cost is exactly in the same proportion, getting increase. That means my total cost increases with the increase in quantity. My total cost decreases with the decrease in quantity. But if you have observed, my per unit, 1 unit cost me 200, CPU is 200. 10 units cost me 2000, CPU is 200. 200 remains same. So whenever I go for a variable cost, my CPU is constant. So I will always prefer focusing on CPU. But in case of a fixed cost, I will always focus on total. See, we should always rely on something that remains same. something that keeps on changing, can't be trusted. So the same thing is applicable in cost accounting as well. Something that remains same must be focused upon. So for variable cost, my CPU remains same. My fixed cost, when I talk about my fixed cost, my total cost remains same. So variable and fixed are the basic two classifications of any total cost structure. There can be a third type, which is known as semi-variable, which is partly fixed and partly variable, which is partly fixed and partly variable. Variable portion changes with quantity and fixed portion changes with time. Fixed portion is a period cost, variable portion is something that changes with the quantity. That means there is a problem, like salary plus commission. Salary is a fixed part, commission is a variable part, so the total payment of salary plus commission is going to be a semi-variable cost for you. Salary plus overtime given can be a semi-variable cost, because salary is a fixed portion, overtime is a variable portion, salary fixed, overtime variable, total is semi-variable. So whenever I talk about semi-variable cost, the moment you come across a semi-variable cost, please bifurcate that cost into two parts, variable and fixed. Because if it is a combination of variable and fixed, variable and fixed, for variable portion I need to focus on CPU, and for fixed portion I need to focus on total. For variable portion I need to focus on CPU, for fixed portion I need to focus on total, and that is possible only if you have bifurcated cost structure into two parts, variable as well as fixed. So semi-variable cost is partly fixed, partly variable. Semi-variable cost is partly fixed, partly variable. Variable portion changes with the quantity, fixed portion is constant because it is a period cost. So please bifurcate your semi-variable cost into two parts. Separate variable from fixed. The moment you separate variable from fixed, एक बार जो मैंने separation कर दिया, तो I can focus on CPU for variable portion and total for fixed portion. Any which ways I want that only. Because for variable, I focus on CPU. For fixed, I focus on total. So that if it is a semi-variable cost, I will separate that into two parts. Variable के लिए I'll start focusing on CPU. Fixed के लिए I'll start focusing on total. That's what I want. So ultimately we'll be left with two options. Ultimately we'll be left with only two structures. One is variable, the other one is fixed. We will be left with only two structures. One is variable and the other one is fixed. Variable keeps on changing, CPU remains same. Fixed cost total remains same irrespective of change in the quantity. So as far as variable cost is concerned, we'll focus on CPU. As far as fixed cost is concerned, we'll focus on total. What if we come across a combination semi-variable cost? Break that cost into two parts. Once your two costs get separated, for variable portion you start focusing on CPU, for fixed portion you start focusing on total. Your work is done. In fact, whenever you want to go for a flexible budget or a fixed budget for that matter, you should be very clear about variable and fixed structure. Because I need to focus on CPU for variable, I need to focus on total for fixed cost, and if there is a semi-variable cost, I need a breakup so that I can focus on CPU, I can focus on total for variable and fixed respectively. So whenever we are supposed to follow fixed budget calculation, please separate your cost into two parts, variable and fixed. If there is a change in variable cost, change CPU. What if there is a change in the fixed cost? change total. Either you if there is a change in the variable cost, you change CPU. If there is a change in the fixed cost, you change the total. If there is a semi-variable cost, break it into two parts. For variable, change CPU. For fixed, change total. If there is no change in the cost structure, anticipated, estimated, then fine. For variable cost, you follow CPU. Current year's CPU will be carried forward to the next period, and for fixed cost, current year's total will be carried forward to the next period. Simply, that is the only thing you are supposed to do. That is the only thing you are supposed to follow when it comes to flexible budget or fixed budget calculation. Now here I would like to discuss one more point. There can be a semi-variable cost bifurcation given, 60% variable. You can easily make out that balance 40% is fixed. 20% fixed. You can easily make out that balance 80% is variable. That part can be found out. But sometimes they give you data like this. 1,000, 5,000, my quantity has gone up from 1,000 to 5,000. My quantity has gone up from 1,000 to 5,000. My cost has gone up from 20 to 90,000. Now, I don't know what kind of a cost structure is this, but I'm very much sure that it is not a fixed cost, because I can clearly see the rise in the cost due to rise in the quantity. That means had it been a fixed cost, it would have been either 2020 or it would have been either 9090. I can see the rise. That means definitely it is not a fixed cost. Now trust me guys, just because it is not a fixed cost, you can't treat it as a variable. Just because it is not a fixed cost, you can't treat it as a variable, because there can be the other type, semi-variable. Let us find out CPU. 1,000 units cost you 20. 1,000 units cost you 20 per unit, naturally. 5,000 units cost you 90. Oh, lala, what has happened? Your CPU is not constant. If your CPU is not constant, it is not a variable cost. Total is not constant, that means it is not a fixed cost. It is neither completely fixed nor it is completely variable, that means it has to be a semi-variable cost. And if it is a semi-variable cost, all I need is breakup. If it is not a semi-variable, if it is not a variable or fixed, it is a semi-variable cost, and if it is a semi-variable cost, all I need now is breakup, and the breakup has to be done in 3 steps. My first step will be calculation of variable cost per unit. See, I can clearly observe the rise in the cost structure of 70,000. My cost has gone up by 70,000. My quantity has gone up by 4,000. 70,000 divided by 4,000. 17.5 per unit. 17.5 per unit is my variable cost structure, which was calculated with the help of this formula. Difference in cost upon difference in quantity. Difference in cost upon difference in quantity. Now I have come to know that per unit variable cost is 17.5. I can easily find out total variable cost from the given equation. In the first year, I produced and sold 1,000 units. 17.5 gives me 17.5 per unit gives me 17,500 as my total cost. if my total cost, 17.5 gives me a variable cost of 17,500. 1,000 was my quantity of the first year. My total cost of first year was 20,000. Total cost for first year was 20,000. 17,500 was total variable portion. So 2,500 has to be fixed cost. Total 20. 17,500 variable. That means balance 2,500 must be my fixed cost. Okay, what is the guarantee that you teach correct? Okay, I'll give you some another confirmation. Instead of first, I'm going for the second year. Instead of first, I'm going for the second year. So 5,000 into 17. 5,000 into 17.5 will give you 87,500. 5,000 into 17.5 will give you 87,500 as variable portion. In the second year, your total cost was 90. Out of that, variable cost was 87.5. That means your answer is still 2,500. That means 2,500 is a fixed portion, which is any which way same, irrespective of 1,000 or 5,000 units produced. That means that portion has to be a fixed portion. So the objective of breakup was, I wanted variable cost per unit and I wanted total fixed cost, so that any change in variable can be recorded here, any change in fixed cost can be recorded here. If there is no change, I will follow 17.5 per unit for a variable cost, and I will follow 2,500 per year for fixed cost. So break up in 3 steps. You must understand this. You should know how to break up at the right time in 3 steps. You will require that in the future if this type of questions are asked in the exam. Quantity structure, cost structure. CPU was not constant, no variable. Total was not constant, no fixed. Okay, so difference in cost upon difference in quantity gives me variable cost per unit. I apply that on any of the quantity structure, I get total variable cost. From total cost of that period, if I subtract the total variable cost calculated here, I end up getting the fixed cost structure. This is what we have. So before you start with any fixed or flexible budget question, any capacity determination calculation you must be doing, you should have a clarity about 2 things. How much is the variable cost? How much is the fixed cost? If you come across a semi-variable portion, break it into 2 parts so that variable portion can be merged with variable cost structure. Fixed portion can be merged with fixed cost structure. Is that part clear? Have a glance on this so that we can start with questions. Have a glance on this so that we can start with questions. Okay, now question number 1. Question number 1. Of course, budgetary control. Following are the details extracted from the records of X Limited. Capacity utilization is 50%, 60%. At 50%, you are producing 2 lakh units. At 60%, you are producing 2,40,000 units. Guys, at 50%, if you are producing 2 lakh units, that means your maximum capacity has to be 4 lakhs. 2 lakh units divided by 50%. If you don't trust me, you can apply that on the next figure. 2,40,000 is your total quantity at 60%. 2,40,000 is your total quantity at 60%. Definitely your 100% quantity has to be 4 lakhs. Then you have selling prices, you have variable cost structure per unit. Factory overheads 2020, I can clearly see that there is no change irrespective of quantity change. That means it has to be a fixed cost. Admin overheads 8 lakhs, fixed cost. But look at the selling and distribution overheads. It is 16 lakhs when capacity utilization is 50%, and then it is 18,40,000 when the capacity utilization is 60%. I can see the change. That means definitely it is not a fixed cost. I can see the change. That means definitely this is not a fixed cost. Then in that case, can I say it is a variable cost just because it is not fixed? No, I can't. So do one thing. Find out CPU. 16 lakhs divided by 2 lakhs, 8 rupees is CPU as per 50% capacity. Whereas 18,40,000 divided by 2,40,000, it comes to 7.66, 67 approximately. Hey, what does that indicate? What does that indicate? CPU is not constant. It is not a variable cost. Total is not constant. It is not a fixed cost. That means what kind of a cost is that? What kind of a cost is that? It is a semi-variable cost. And if it is a semi-variable cost, before even I start with anything else, I should break my cost structure into two parts: variable and fixed. So my first working note will be breakup of selling and distribution overheads. Breakup of selling and distribution overheads. It is a semi-variable cost. How do you know? Neither CPU nor total is constant. Neither CPU nor total is constant. Neither CPU nor total is constant. That means it is neither a variable cost nor it is a fixed cost. That means it is a semi-variable cost. Let's go for the breakup calculation. My first step towards the breakup is nothing but my variable cost per unit. My variable cost per unit. Again, 18,40,000 minus 16 lakhs. The quantity is also increased. So 6 rupees per unit. 6 rupees per unit is going to be my variable portion. 6 rupees per unit is going to be my variable portion I'm using it to get total variable cost. At 50%, I'm producing 2 lakhs into 6 per unit, 12 lakhs. When I was producing 2 lakhs, I was spending 16 lakhs as my total cost structure. Out of 16, I just now found out 12 was variable. That means balance 4 lakhs must be a fixed cost. Out of total cost of 16, if 12 is variable, that means balance 4 lakhs has to be a fixed cost. Total cost, variable cost. If I remove variable cost from total, I'm left with fixed cost. You can take the other way around. 2,40,000 into 6 would have been 14,40,000, and 18,40,000 minus 14,40,000 would have given you 4 lakhs only, which is your fixed cost. And since we have already done the calculation, just as a formality, we'll write down the formula. Difference in cost upon difference in quantity. Difference in cost upon difference in quantity. Have a glance on this working. So now we have a breakup of variable and fixed. Variable selling and distribution cost is 6 per unit. Fixed selling and distribution cost is 4 lakhs. So we know the cost structure now. What is asked? You're required to prepare flexible budget for the following capacity levels: 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, and 100%. We have been asked to prepare budget for 5 different levels of activities. Definitely it is more than one, so that budget will be known as a flexible budget. And if you're going for a flexible budget, this is what we need. We need particulars. We need particulars, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, and 100%. 5 levels. This is what the format is. Statement of flexible budget. 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, and 100%. %, 60, 70, 80, 100. Before we go for anything else, we should know the quantity in terms of units. Question has told us that at 50% we are producing and selling 2 lakh units. At 60 it's 2,40,000. That means definitely at 100% you are producing, or rather you can produce 4 lakhs. 2 lakh divided by 50%. 2 lakhs divided by 50%. 4 lakhs. 2 lakhs divided by 50%, 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs ka 80%, 3,20,000. 4 lakhs ka 70%, 2,80,000 are different quantity structures. These are my different quantity structures. Now let us read the next information. Other information is given below. Production beyond 3 lakh units would result into fixed factory overheads increase by 30%. Capacity utilization beyond 70% would result in decline in selling price by 10%, and at 100% capacity utilization the selling price will decline by 16%. At 100% capacity utilization, extra advertisement cost would increase the selling and distribution overhead by 6 lakhs compared to normal level. That means your cost is going up by 6 lakhs. And similar at 70 and 80% by 2 lakhs and 4 lakh respectively. Suggest optimum capacity utilization level. Optimum level means the level at which my profit is maximized. Now it is not necessary that every time at 100% only your profit will be maximized. Sometimes in order to sell more you'll have to offer discount. Sometimes in order to sell more you'll have to go for a huge advertisement cost. So you can't simply keep on saying that highest is the quantity, highest is the profit. We need to find it out. We need to find it out, that part first. We'll have to find out the profit, and that will decide the most economic, or I would say the optimum capacity level. And for that we need to go for selling price. Point number 2 is telling you something about selling price. Point number 2 says capacity utilization beyond 70% would result decline in selling price by 10%. I can clearly see selling price to be 50 at first 2 levels in the question. Beyond 70% it will go down by 10%. That means at 70% it will remain same. Beyond 70% is this 80% part. It is going down by 10%. So 50 minus 10% is 45. 50 minus 10% is 45. 50 minus 10% is 45. And then the question further says at 100% selling price shall decline by 16%. 16% of 50 is 8. That means my selling price is going to be 42. This is what my selling price is. In this case, if this happens, my sales value will be different. It will be 100 lakhs, 120 lakhs, 140 lakhs, 144 lakhs, and 168 lakhs. This is what my collection is: 100, 120, 140, 144 and 168 lakhs. Correct? Next part. We are going for profit, so we need to subtract total cost from this. Minus total cost. In total cost, I can clearly see variable cost per unit. And that variable portion is at the rate of 20. That variable cost is at the rate of 20. So, variable cost per unit is 20. There is no change given in the variable cost as such. So, $40 lakhs, 48 lakhs, 56 lakhs, 64 lakhs, 80 lakhs. This is going to be my variable structure first. My variable cost in the question is given to be 2020. Variable cost per unit is 20. I have a quantity structure which gives me 40, 48, 56, 64 and 80 lakhs. After that, I have a fixed cost structure in the form of factory overheads and admin overheads. Point number 1 clearly says beyond 3 lakhs, my fixed cost, my fixed factory overheads will be increased by 30%. Beyond 3 lakhs, that means till 3 lakhs, it will be 20 lakhs only. After 3 lakhs, it will be 20 lakhs. %30. So that comes to 26 lakhs. There is no other information given, so this will also be 26 lakhs. They could have given you at 100%, further goes up to 20% and all that. So we would have added 40% here. It's 20 lakhs for 2 given capacity utilization levels. That means it is fixed. Till 3 lakhs, there is no change. After 3 lakhs, it will be 30% more. So 20 lakhs will go up by 30%. That means by 6 lakhs to give you this. Then my admin overheads. My admin overheads has got no change given. 8 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 8 lakhs. For fixed, total is same. And if I'm going for selling and distribution overheads, I need to go for variable portion first and then fixed portion, whereas my variable is going to be 6 rupees per unit. My variable portion is going to be 6 rupees per unit. So 12 lakhs, 14.4, 16.8, 19.2 and 24 lakhs. 12 lakhs, 14.4 lakhs, 16.8 lakhs, 19.2 lakhs, 24 lakhs is the variable portion. Fixed, we have already calculated. It is 4 lakhs at any level. But there is an additional advertisement cost which is also to be recorded as a part of selling and distribution. This additional advertisement cost is 6 lakhs at 100% level. At 70% and 80%, it is 2 lakhs and 4 lakhs. But there is no additional cost in first two cost structures. So variable cost is recorded, factory overheads are recorded, admin overheads are recorded, then we have also recorded revised selling price, we have also recorded additional advertisement cost. Now we need to get the total. 40, 28, 16, 84 lakhs. Sales will be marked as A, total cost will be marked as B, and profit will be A minus B. which will be 16 lakhs. Similarly, 48, 28, 14.44, third one 56, 106.8, this is my third one, 64, 26, 8, 19.2, and the other two 125.2, 144 is the sales value. And 80, 26, 8 to 23 lakhs. 80, 26, 8, 24 and 10. Yeah, 148 lakhs. 148 lakhs from 168. 20 lakhs. See, you're working at 100% level. You're working at 100% level, but your profit is not maximum. Your profit is maximized at 70%. Optimum level. This is what I was trying to explain. This is what I was actually explaining. Merely just because you're producing the maximum quantity, that doesn't mean that your profit will also be maximum, guys. Higher quantity comes out with a higher cost structure, plus some additional advertisement expenses, plus a huge discount of 8 rupees per unit. That has also affected you. So it's not necessary that every time you will be able to get maximum profit at 100%. At 50%, 60% I'm getting this profit figure, but at 70% I'm getting the best profit figure because my cost is managed in such a way that my profit is maximized as compared to other 5 levels. Other 4 levels. Even if I'm producing maximum, I'm spending also a huge amount that is restricting my profit. And therefore, I can always say that 70% here is the optimum level, which has maximized my profit. Have a glance on this so that we can proceed with the next one. Have a glance on this so that we can proceed with the next one. Got it? So this was your first question of flexible budgets. Question number 2. The following are the details of the budgeted and the actual cost in a factory for 6 months from Jan to June 2018. From the figures given below, you are required to prepare the production cost budget for the period from Jan to June 2019. So Jan to June 2018 is given, budget as well as actual, what we planned and what we produced. And Jan to June 2019 is asked as a budget period. So basically we are supposed to prepare budget for the next year for the same span. Jan to June 2019 is a period of budget which is based on actual of Jan to June 2018 and budget of Jan to June 2018. What I have done and what I had planned to do in 2018 Jan to June is given. Production should have been, production was expected to be 20,000, actually it is 18. Material cost was expected to be 40 lakhs, actually it is 39 lakh 90,000. Because you expected consumption of 2,000 metric tons at 2,000, but you actually consume less, 1,900 metric tons at 2,100. So your budgeted price was 2,000 per metric ton, but your actual price is 2,100 per metric ton. Labor cost was 8 lakhs. Labor cost is 7 lakh 99,920. Rate is increased, but the cost has gone down. Strange, no? Instead of 20, you're spending 22. Instead of 20, you're spending 22, but instead of 8 lakhs, your cost has gone down. One reason is fall in the quantity. Your budgeted quantity is given for 20,000 units, but your actual quantity is hardly 18,000. So that is one of the reasons. Plus there can be a variation in efficiency also. Variable overheads are also available. See, 2 lakh 40 is a cost given for 20,000. That means that it comes to 12 rupees per unit. Hey, it comes to 12 rupees per unit. 12 rupees per unit into 18,000. 2 lakh 16,000. So variable cost per unit remains same. And there is a change in the fixed cost. You expected fixed cost to be 4 lakhs, but your actual fixed cost went up to 4 lakh 20,000. In the first half of 2019, that means in the next year, in the budget period, the production is budgeted for 25,000 units. Your production is budgeted for 25,000 units. Material cost per ton will increase from last year's actual. Last year's actual is 2,100. So your material cost per ton will increase from last year's actual by 100 rupees. That means last year's actual was 2,100. 100 rupees will be more this time. So your current price is going to be 2,200 per metric ton. And it is proposed to maintain the consumption efficiency of 2018 as budgeted. So consumption pattern will not change, but consumption pattern as budgeted. So your budgeted consumption pattern was 2,000 metric tons, but your price will be 2,200 per metric ton. So your consumption part will remain same. Your consumption part will remain same. But your rate will be different. So material part is done. Labor efficiency will be lower by another 1% and labor rate will be 20 rupees per hour. Labor efficiency will go down and labor rate will be 22 per hour. Okay. Variable and fixed overheads will go up by 20% over 2018 actual. So actual is to be considered as a base and not budgeted. You're required to prepare production cost budget for the period Jan to June 2019, giving all the workings. Okay. We are supposed to prepare budget. We are supposed to prepare the budget for Jan to June. We are supposed to prepare budget for Jan to June. Okay, so budget Jan to June 2019. Production will be 25,000 units. This is what the question says. This is what my question says. Now, let us talk about the first cost structure, and that is my material cost. And I would prefer going for a working note for all these cost structures wherever required. Let me first go for material structure, material cost. Question says material cost per ton will increase from last year's actual. Your last year's actual cost, actual price is per ton price is 2,100. It will now be raised by 100. So revised material cost per ton. Last year's actual is the base plus 100. So 2,200. 2,200. But proposed to maintain the consumption efficiency of 2018 as budgeted. So material consumption quantity is also to be found out. 2,000 metric tons we have used for producing 20,000 units of finished goods. Can you see that? 2,000 metric tons you have produced. 2,000 metric tons you have produced. Metric tons you have consumed for producing 20,000. Okay. How much you have planned to produce now? 25,000, no? So, if you are producing 25,000 units, 2,500 metric tons should be 2,500 metric ton should be my quantity structure. So, budgeted material cost of 2019 would be 2,500 metric ton into so that comes to 55 lakhs. That comes to 55 lakhs. So material cost 55 lakhs. This was additional cost over actual, and this was consumption based on budget. Question clearly said it is proposed to maintain the consumption efficiency of 2018 as budgeted. So we were supposed to consume 2,000 metric tons for 20,000 units. We were supposed to consume 2,000 metric tons for 20,000 units. So for 25,000, my consumption should have been 2,500. So 2,500 multiplied by 2,200, 55 lakhs is my material cost. Something is happening about labor as well. They have directly given you rates of labor. Labor efficiency will be lower by another 1% and labor rates will be 22 per hour. Labor efficiency will go down by another 1% and the rate will be 22 per hour. So rate is already available. Rate is already available. We need to find out number of hours. Efficiency goes down. Guys, do you know the meaning of it? Efficiency goes down will increase number of hours. Efficiency going down will increase number of hours, but that is not a meaning of efficiency going down. It is a consequence of efficiency going down. You look at your existing cost structure, your budgeted hours were 8 lakhs divided by 20. 20 what per hour? It was 40,000. So, budgeted hours per unit. 40,000 hours I was supposed to take for producing 20,000 units. That comes to 2 hours. When I say efficiency goes down, when I say efficiency goes down, when I say efficiency goes down, I will not take more hours. I will produce less. If I work for 2 hours, I'm supposed to complete 1 unit. Now I will not be able to complete 1 unit in 2 hours. That's what the meaning is. If my efficiency goes down by 1%, that means now in 2 hours you are not producing 1 unit, you are producing 1% less. So that means in 2 hours you are producing 0.99 units or 0.99 units. This calls for additional, and that is why number of hours. Now 0.99 units get manufactured in 2 hours. .99 units get manufactured in 2 hours. That means one whole unit you are supposed to work for 2.02 hours. 2.02 hours. I was expecting that I will take 2 hours for producing 1 unit. It was my budget. I was expecting that 1 unit will be produced in 2 hours. Suppose my efficiency is down by 1%. I will take 2.02 hours for producing each unit. How many units did I actually produce in the budget in the actual period last year, 2018? It's 18,000. So 18,000 units have actually taken 360 hours. 18,000 units have actually taken 18,000 units have actually taken 360 hours, and the actual rate applied was 22. And that is how you have got the actual labor cost of Jan to June 2018 as 7,99,920. Have you understood this calculation? This is the most important one. Efficiency goes down by 1% doesn't mean you will increase hours by 1%. No. Efficiency goes down by 1% means your hours will be more, but that should be the consequence. But we are getting one and the same. We are getting one and the same because it is a negligible change. But we should always go by concept and not answers. 1% down. That means, can I say whatever I was supposed to complete in 2 hours is getting completed in 2.02 hours? That means in the year 2018, last year, in the year 2018, as compared to budget, my efficiency has already gone down by 1%. In the year 2018, my efficiency has actually gone down by 1% as compared to budgeted. My budgeted information for 2019 says labor efficiency will be lower by another 1%. Another 1%? Now you must have realized the importance and the meaning of the word another. It has already gone down by 1%, and that's why they are saying that it has gone down by another 1%. That means now it will be 0.98 units in given period of 2 hours. Are you understanding this? 360 hours, you could have easily calculated. 799 920 divided by 22, 360 divided by 40. Now, if you really want to understand the consequence, let us go by this way. As the budget of 2018 actual efficiency is already down by 1%. Another 1% down means in 2 hours you will now be producing 2% less, that is 0.98 units. As compared to the budget of 2018, actual efficiency is already down by 1%. We have discussed that. Another 1% down means 2 hours will now be required for 0.98 units. Hours required in 2019. 0.98 units need 2 hours now. 1 whole unit will take more. 2 upon 0.98 2.04 hours approximately. So total budgeted hours, or I would say total budgeted labor cost. Why not get it done directly? I have 25,000 units to be produced, multiplied by 2.04 hours per unit, multiplied by 22 rupees per hour. That comes to 11,22,000. 1122,000 as my actual as my budgeted labor cost. I maintain consumption, but my efficiency has gone down. So this is what my material cost is, and this is what my labor cost is. Now see, this is a right way of calculating things. It is actually 2.040816 hours into 25,000 into 22. So actually it comes to 11,22,450 if you see the whole figure. That makes a difference. I have not changed the efficiency part based on hours. It is not 2 plus 2%. It is not 2 plus 2%. It is 2 hours for 0.98. How much for 1 hour? This is a right way of calculating things. Then further I have some variable structure to be recorded. Variable and fixed will go up by 20%. Variable overhead is 12. Okay, I'll go for working note only so that there won't be a confusion. Working note 3. Variable overheads. Will go up by 20% over actual. 2,16,000 is my actual cost of 18,000 units. This is 12 per unit plus 20% more, 14.4 per unit, 12 per unit, 20% more, 14.4 into 25,000. So 25,000 units into 14.4. How do you know? Working note 3. 3,60,000 and fixed overheads. Fixed overheads will go up by 20% over 2019 actual. Actual is 420. Actual is 420. So 420 plus 20%. 5,04,000. 5,04,000. So 5,04,360, 11,22, 55 lakhs, 74,86,000. $74,86,000. This is what we have. We had budgeted data for 20,000. We had actual data for 18,000. Question clearly said material will be 100 more from actual. Actual was 2,100, 100 rupees more, 2,200. But if the consumption efficiency was as per budgeted data, so 2,000 metric tons were supposed to be consumed for 20,000, I actually produced 25,000, so 2,500 metric tons multiplied by 2,200. Okay, that was one calculation. Labor said efficiency will be lower by another 1%. So it is already down by 1%. It will further go down. So it will be 2% down. Labor rate will be 22 per hour. So I did not increase number of hours. We have shown this calculation. There is a minor difference of 450. That is only because of rounding off error. But you can take this as, we can always round it off here for this calculation. Or else, if you want, you can take the full rate, full number of hours, and get the right amount calculated. If you want, you can do that as well. Since we have rounded it off, this calculation will give you marks. 2 plus 2% will not give you marks. 2 plus 2%, you will get the same thing, but you will not be getting marks because that will not be the direct impact. See, if you want, you can show that calculation as well. It's 2 divided by 0.98, so it is 2.04081632 recurring approximately. So we can always show this calculation as like this, multiplied by 25,000 into 22, so around 449. So you can write here 449. That changes your answer. Or even if you keep it up to 2 decimals, that is fine, because these days they have started telling you that it should be rounded off up to 2 decimal, 3 decimals. If not, this is a change. If not, this is a change, boss. If you take 2.2 hours plus 2%, your answer will be different. But actually it is this. That's why I have taken this. If question says round it off up to 2 decimals, take 2.04. If question doesn't say, you can go for this. I have shown you both the calculations, but this is where you will be given marks. Not for adding 2% to 2 lakhs, no, 2 hours. Not for adding 2% to 2 hours, you will be given marks for this calculation. This is the real meaning of efficiency going down. Earlier 2 hours were enough to produce 1 unit. Now in 2 hours you are producing 0.98 unit. This is efficiency going down. Okay, so 0.98 requires 2 hours. So 1 unit now will require more. This is what you are supposed to do. You can take this if you want. Even that can be done. Please keep an eye on the question, because question may tell you to round off things. Question may tell you to round it off up to 3 decimals, 2 decimals. Accordingly, you have to frame your solution. But more or less, we do this for flexible budget, only one level, 25,000. Whereas my earlier calculation was 3, 4, 5 different levels of quantity production. So that was a flexible budget. This was a fixed budget. This is what we are supposed to do. Yeah. So that was about functional, that was about flexible and fixed budget. There is one more category which is normally asked in the exam in case of budgetary control, and that is your functional budgets. Your functional budgets are estimates about different functions of the organization. When you do business, when you do a manufacturing activity, there are so many different functions associated with it, right from buying the material, consumption of material, labor cost, HR, managing employees is also a task. Now, when you do all that stuff, you realize that there are so many things to be planned. It's not that you are producing X units and you start with the production activity. You need to plan things. You need to arrange resources. So, whenever we go for functional budgeting, you always go in the reverse direction. Whenever you go for the functional budgeting, you always go in the reverse direction. Always find out something that is the last stage of your production process or your last stage of the business, and that is sales. See, I purchase material for consumption, I consume material for producing finished goods, and I produce finished goods for selling them. So if you don't know how much is required to be sold, you will not be able to decide how much is required to be produced. If you don't know how much is required to be sold, you will never come to know how much is required to be produced. So find out how much is the quantity required to be sold. That will give you production budget. Once you know, okay, X units are to be produced, then find out how much is required to be consumed, because that consumption pattern will give you quantity to be purchased in the future. Plus that quantity to be produced will also give you number of hours required, which can be utilized later on to decide number of hours and number of workers requirement. So how do we go about it? See, always remember this. I'm giving you a chart which is applicable for any question of functional budgeting. You should always find out sales budget. You should always find out sales budget. Sales budget is the first thing that you should find out. Sales budget will let you know production budget, because they are connected. Sales budget will let you know the production budget because they are connected. How? I'm supposed to sell something, but I already have some stock with me on the last day, or rather I want stock to be this much. Okay, I'll take example. I want to sell 10,000. I want to sell 10,000, but I should have a stock of 5,000 after selling 10,000. That means I should produce 15,000. I should produce 15,000. Oh, I do have 2,000 right now with me. Don't produce 15 then, produce only 13. Simple. So, I can always say that the format is quantity to be sold plus closing minus opening, and that will give me quantity to be produced. This is my production budget, which I must follow. Quantity to be sold plus closing stock of finished goods minus opening stock of finished goods gives me quantity to be produced. And the moment I come to know that there is a quantity to be produced, I can immediately go for raw material consumption budget. I will immediately go for raw material consumption budget and raw material purchase budget, because consumption and purchase are also connected. That means if I come to know, okay, so many units are required to be produced, I'll find out quantity to be consumed. Once I come to know, okay, I need to consume 20,000 kgs of material. I need to consume 20,000 kgs of material. How much I should buy? 20,000. Simple. Okay, what if I want stock of 5,000 after consuming 20? So please add closing stock of raw material plant. I should buy 25,000. I need to consume 20. I need to hold a stock of 5. So 20 plus 5, 25,000 I should have. Okay, what if I already have 3,000 with me? I should purchase 25, but I already have 3,000 with me. Then I should buy 22,000. So my raw material purchase budget. My raw material purchase budget is also based on a similar formula. The moment I realize this is quantity to be purchased, I can immediately multiply this by price to give me the purchase cost. Whatever I do to find out raw material consumed, I'm going in the reverse direction to find it out. Opening plus purchase minus closing gives me quantity to be consumed, or rather raw quantity consumed. Right now I'm going in the reverse direction. To be consumed plus closing minus opening will give me quantity to be purchased. Apply price, get the purchase cost calculated. So the moment I find out production quantity, the moment I get production quantity calculated, I can find out consumption and budget. I can even find out number of hours required. The moment you have information about number of hours required, you can also go for labor budget. You can also go for labor budget, or you can even go for production budget. You can go for labor budget, or you can also go for overheads budget. Any budget can be found out provided you have production quantity, and any production quantity can be calculated provided you have sales quantity. See, I'm following a reverse direction. Generally, I purchase material, I arrange labor, I arrange my resources, I start with the production. I consume material, I make them work, I pay them for hours worked, I pay on material consumed, I produce finished goods and I sell it. So if you want to plan things, please follow the reverse direction. If you follow reverse directions, you will realize I need to sell this. For selling this, I have to produce something. For selling that, I need to produce something. I need to produce this. And for producing this, I need to follow the formula. After selling something, if I want some quantity, I should produce this much. I need not produce this much because I already have some stock. So balance quantity need to be produced. Same thing is about material consumption. Once I know raw material required to be consumed, finished goods required to be produced are 10,000 units. 10,000 units are required to be produced. Okay. 10,000 units are required to be produced. 1 unit of finished product requires 3 kgs of raw material. So 10,000 units will require 30,000 kgs. 10,000 units will require 30,000 kgs. 30,000 kgs multiplied by price will give you purchase if there is no stock. 10,000 units into 3, 30,000 kgs are required to be consumed. I want stock of 5,000 after that. So 33,000 for consumption, 5,000 as closing stock. I should have 38,000. Please buy 38,000. I already have 2,000 as opening stock. Okay, then don't buy 38,000. 2,000 you already have. Buy 36,000 at whatever price prevailing in the market. That will give you the purchase cost to be incurred in the future. Your functional budget is nothing beyond this chart. And even in case of sales budget, always remember quantity sold will either be given or they will give you budgeted sales value along with budgeted selling price, or at the most they can give you a budgeted sales value along with the cost structure. So you simply add cost per unit and profit and decide selling price. The moment you get selling price, sales divided by selling price will give you the the quantity. Find out quantities sold first. Find out quantities sold first. Either that quantity sold will be given to you in the question, or they will give you total sales is estimated to be 10 lakhs. Selling price is estimated to be 10. So 10 lakhs divided by 10 gives you a hint that 1 lakh units are required to be sold. They may give you cost structure as well, material something per unit, labor per unit, accumulate. Get the entire cost structure accumulated. Accumulate entire cost structure, add profit, decide selling price. The moment you decide selling price, you'll automatically find yourself in the second situation. Sales divided by selling price will give you quantity structure. I hope this is clear. Have a glance on this. This is a crux. This is a simple point related to your entire budgetary for functional budgeting calculation. If you know this, you can crack any question of functional budget. You should know only this much. Follow the reverse direction. Sales, production, consumption, purchase, sales, production, hours required labor, sales, production, hours required overheads. One thing. How to get sales quantity? Either it will be given to you, or they will give you budgeted sales value along with budgeted selling price, or else they'll give you budgeted cost structure. You add profit to that, determine your selling price, sales divided by selling price gives you the answer. Is this done? Let's go for question number 3. We have very good variety of questions in this type now as far as functional budget is concerned. Functional budget concept has got so many different varieties. Let's handle each and every one of them one by one, but the basic crux is going to be the same. CTB Limited produces and markets 3 products, C, T and B. The company is presenting its budget for the next quarter ending 31st March 2019. It expects to sell 4,200, 800 and 500 numbers at selling price of 50, 85 and 158 per unit respectively of product C, T and B during the above period. So we have got quantity to be sold 4,200, 800 and 500, and we also have selling price 50, 85 and 158 per unit. Okay. Look at the material requirement. You need 2 types of materials. One is timber, the other one is upholstery. You have carpenter's time in minutes, fixer and finisher's time in terms of minutes. Timber cost you 50 per cubic feet, upholstery cost you 20 rupees per square yards. That's the price available for each type of material. Fixing and finishing material cost 5% of the cost of timber and upholstery. There is no quantity, there is a 5% cost to be added. That means this has to be the indirect material. Carpenter gets 6 rupees per hour, fixer and finisher gets 4.80 per hour. These are your labor rates. So 2 types of materials, timber and upholstery, 2 types of workers, carpenters and fixer and finisher. Inventory level, timber and upholstery has to be, these 2 materials are given in the question. That means this information has to be your opening and closing stock of raw material. And next 3 columns, CTB, since they are your finished goods, that is the information about opening closing stock of finished goods. Fixed overheads would be 8,000 per month. Fixed overheads would be 8,000 per month. And we have been given information about quarter ending 31st March. Quarter ending 31st March. So, we need to understand one thing. Entire data is related to 1 quarter. My fixed cost is 8,000 per month. 1 quarter has 3 months. So if at all I'm supposed to consider fixed cost, I will consider 24,000 and not 8,000. Okay. What is asked? You're required to prepare a production budget showing quantities of CTB to be manufactured. Now look at this chart. Look at this chart and tell me which situation we belong to. We have to start with sales quantity. Do you have sales quantity given in the question? Do you have sales quantity given in the question? The answer is yes. We do have sales quantity given in the question. Since I already have sales quantity given in the question, I will directly go for production budget. Since I already have sales quantity given in the question, I will directly go for production budget. CTB. Now, how to decide columns? Don't get confused with columns. Whichever information you are answering, that should be your column. If I'm answering production budget, that means I'm answering I'm answering finished goods. If I'm going for production budget, I'm answering finished goods. If I'm answering finished goods, my finished goods columns must get reflected. Quantity to be sold is the first thing to be written. 4,200, 800, 500. 4,200, 800, 500. I need to add a closing stock of CTB, which is given on the next line, next page, point number 2. Closing stock CTB 200, 350, 200, 350. I do have opening stock as well. 400, 150, 100, 150, 400, 150. That means after selling 4,200, I must have a stock of 200. That means I should be producing 4,400. But 400 I already have, so I will produce 4,000 only. After selling 800, I want stock of 300. That means I should have 1100 with me. But 1100 I did not produce because 100 I already have. So I'll go for production of 1000. I'll go for production of 1000 units. I will go for production of 1000 units. Similarly, I want to sell 500, have a stock of 50. I should produce 550, but I already have 50, so I'll be producing only 500. So my first budget, production budget for the quarter is over. Company is presenting its budget for the next quarter. So whatever is happening for 3 months. Whatever is happening for 3 different months. So this is what we need. So next part. This was part A, production budget. We could do it directly because we had that information. See, sales quantity was given, so I could directly go for production, but this is what I told you. My next is material purchase budget. Now see, your material is not purchased first. Practically you purchase material and then consume. But when you plan for it, you should be knowing, you should have an information as in how much you want to consume. Because if you don't know how much is to be consumed, how can you purchase it? So when you plan in the reverse manner. When you implement, you will implement in a normal manner any which way. I hope this is clear. So I will have to first find out consumption and then I can go for purchase. And for that, I would prefer going for a separate working note. I would prefer going for a separate working note. Now, I'm going for material budget. Now I'm going for material budget. How many types of materials I can see? How many types of materials I have? 2. So I'll go for only 2 columns. I will go for only 2 columns. Timber and upholstery. That's my second budget. Raw material consumption. Timber, upholstery. Since I have only two types of materials, I would go for only 2 plus 1 format. Had there been 3 materials, I would have gone for 3 plus particulars. I told you, simply focus on what are you supposed to answer. If you are answering about finished goods ka column. If you are answering about labor columns. If you are answering about material columns. I'm dealing with 2 types of finished goods, only 2 columns. Now, why do we need timber and upholstery? We need timber for producing 4,000 units of C, 1,000 units of T, and 500 units of B. I'm using timber and upholstery for producing 4,000, 1,000 and 500 of C, T and B. Look at timber. Your requirement of timber is 0.5. Your requirement of timber is 0.5, 1.2 and 2.5. Your requirement of timber is 0.5, 1.2 and 2.5. In this case, if I'm producing 4,000, 1,000 and 500 units, my consumption requirement will be absolutely different. And my total consumption is going to be 4, 4, 5, 0. This is going to be my quantity to be consumed. This is my quantity to be consumed. As far as upholstery is concerned, upholstery is required only in case of C. So 0.25 per unit is my requirement. 4,000 units you have produced and sold. You have planned to produce rather. 1,000 is the consumption. I don't need upholstery for these two. That's what the question says. So 1,000 will be consumed in terms of upholstery, and this is square yards, this is cubic feet, 4450. Hey, this is only consumption. Then I should purchase this, but there is a stock required. 650, 260, 650, 260. Closing stock, opening stock, closing stock, opening stock. I want to consume this. I would have purchased this, but I want stock after this. So I should be purchasing the total. Actually not, because I have opening stock of 600 and 400. Can you see that? I have 600 and 400 with me. So 4,500 and 860 is my quantity to be purchased. Immediately this will be multiplied by price. Immediately I am multiplying this by price, where the price is 50 for timber and 20 for upholstery. 50 and 20. So, oh, I'm so sorry. It's 50. So, I'll see. Yeah. 4,500 into 50. 2,25,000. 4,500 into 50. 2,25,000. And 860 into 20. 17,200. So 242,200. 242,200 is the total purchase cost. 4450 plus 650 minus 600 into 50. 1000 plus 260 minus 400. 1000 plus 260 minus 400 into 20. 240 to 200 is your purchase cost. So it's a raw material consumption. Raw material consumption and purchase budget. This is what we have. Have you understood this part? See, I'm still stuck to the basics. Get your production done. Once your production is done, use the same production to find out consumption. In fact, in the same table, you can even go for purchase. I need to consume this, but after consumption, I want stock. So I should have purchased this much. I did not go for this because I already have some stock. So I'll be purchasing the balance by paying so much. By paying so much. Is this part clear? That is the first item related to the cost structure, material. So your material consumption and purchase budget is prepared. Then they have asked us to go for wages cost budget. They have asked us to go for wages cost budget. That is my part C. Wages cost budget. Tell me one thing. How many types of workers you can see? I can see at least two different types of workers. One is the carpenter and the other one is fixer and finisher. Okay. So the fixer and finisher. Again, we are going for labor budget. So number of types of workers is the base. When I went for production budget, it was related to finished goods, so finished goods column. When I went for raw material budget, two types of materials. Now I'm going for labor budget, two types of labor. Carpenter and fixer and finisher, and I need these people for producing 4,000 units of C, 1000 units of T and 500 units of B. Look at carpenter's time. 45 minutes. It's 45 minutes. So 45 upon 60. Carpenter 60 minutes for timber and 75 minutes for B. This is what he takes into 4000 into 1000 into 500. This is what I'm expected to do. So 3000 hours, 1000 hours, 625 hours, 4625 hours are required of carpenter. Fixer and finisher also takes 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes for producing 4000 of C, 1000 of T, 500 of B. So 1000 hours, 250 hours, 250 hours. Your requirement here is 1500. Have you understood the requirement? See, from sales we went to production. Once you go for production, your entire scope gets widened. You go to production budget, that means you get a master key. After production, you can go for consumption purchase, you can go for hours required and labor. That is what we are doing. That is what I am trying to find out here. Carpenter takes 45 minutes, 60 minutes and 75 minutes. So 4000, 1000 and 500 units will require so many hours. Fixer finisher takes 15 minutes each for C and T. So this is what he is supposed to spend, and 30 minutes it takes for producing B. So this is what he is supposed to spend. So I just now got number of hours required into the rate of workers. What is the rate of workers? How much is the rate? 6 rupees and 4.80. So 6 rupees and 4.80. 27,750 here. 1500 into 4.80. 7,200. My total labor cost 34,950. 34,950. So once you go for A, all avenues are open for you. You can go for material consumption, purchase cost. You can even go for wages cost budget. That was point number C. That was was your point number C. Now, the next part. Now they are asking us to find out a statement showing variable cost of manufacturing per unit of all three products. Variable cost per unit is asked. Variable cost per unit is asked. If you want to find out variable cost per unit, you should know material and all breakup of cost structures. First of all, you have three different types of finished goods. You have three different types of finished goods. Okay. So statement of variable cost per unit, CTB. My variable cost structure begins with material, where I have two. One is timber at the rate of rupees 50. Then I have upholstery at the rate of 20. This will give me material cost. My requirement of timber is 0.5, 1.2 and 2.5. Correct? Into 50. So 25, 60, 125. 25, 60, 125. 25, 60, 125. This is what I'm spending right now on material. Upholstery, I also need 0.25 of upholstery only for C. So that will be another 5 rupees. So I'll be spending 30, 60, 125 on material, followed by labor. I have carpenter at the rate of 6 rupees, and I have fixer and finisher at the rate of 4.80. Now this is on hourly basis. ₹6 on hourly basis. So 6 divided by 60, 0.1 per second, 0.1 per second into 45. Then 6 and 7.5. 4.8 for 1 hour, that is 60 minutes. 15, 15, 30. 15, 15, 30. This is going to be my labor cost per unit. 5.7, 7.2, 9.9, Material is marked as A, labor will be marked as B. Don't get the total. You have fixer, finisher, material, which is 5% off, which is 5% off total cost of timber and upholstery, 5% of A. So 1.5, 3, 6.25. So this will give me total variable cost per unit A plus B plus fixture and finisher material 30 plus 5.7 plus 1.5 37.2 70.2 141.15. This is what I have. This is my part D, where they have asked me to calculate variable cost structure per unit of CTB. Material based on consumption, labor based on hours required. This was 5% of total of this. But in part E, they have asked us to calculate profit. So we can extend this actually. We can even extend this to find out profit of the quarter. So D and E can be clubbed, can be combined. I will continue here. I have C, I have T, I have B. Okay. If I write selling price on the next line, I think the selling price is given 50, 85 and 158. 50, 85 and 158. 50, 85 and 158 per unit. If it is given on the next line, I can find out contribution per unit, which is 12.5, which is 14.8, 16.85, 12.8, 14.8 and 16.85. Immediately this quantity will be multiplied by quantity sold. Always remember this. You are dealing with profit calculation, and profit is not because of the production, profit is because of quantity sold. Your quantity sold is 4,100, 800 and 500. When you multiply your contribution per unit by quantity sold, you will be getting total contribution. $12.8 into 4,200, 53,760. 800 into 14.8, 11,840. 16.85 into 500, 16.85 into 500, 8425. So my total contribution will be 74,025, which is the combined one. I want profit, so I will subtract fixed cost. Question says it is 8,000 per month. So it is 50,025. 50,025 is going to be your profit for the year. Profit for the quarter. So this is material, this is labor. This was not given in terms of quantity, so that was also added. There was no other cost involved. There was no other variable cost structure given apart from that fixing and finishing material, which is 5% of timber and upholstery. When that part is done, now I have total variable cost structure here, which is compared with selling price to give me contribution per unit. I get profit only because of quantity sold and not because of quantity manufactured. So quantity sold is applied. Quantity sold into contribution per unit gives me total contribution. Combined contribution is so much. Against that, 8,000 per month is going to be my fixed cost. So 8,000 into 3, because I want per quarter. So 24,000 minus karne ke baad 50,025 is going to be your variable cost structure. 50,025 is going to be your profit structure, not variable cost, profit structure. Have you understood this part? See, my starting point is still the same. Sales, then production. Then once you know production, consumption, purchase, hours, labor, anything can be calculated. Your entire budget is based on this. And how to get this? 3 situations. One, either it will be given to you just like this question, or sometimes you'll have to go for this calculation, sales upon selling price and sales upon cost per unit plus profit. That depends on the question. We'll discuss that part later. Have you understood this question? That's the end of this question. Let's proceed with the next one. Alrighty then, let's go to the next question, which is again based on the same chart which we discussed. Question number 4. You're required from the data given below to prepare next year's budget for production and purchase. You're supposed to prepare a budget for production and purchases. I can see 2 different types of products, A and B. And product A and B require 3 types of materials, X, Y and Z. We have been given the consumption pattern 24, 30, 10 and 8, 5 kgs and 10 kgs. Of course, respectively for Y, A and B. Then we also have 2 different types of labors, unskilled and skilled. 10 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours. Production overhead is absorbed on the basis of direct labor hours. Production overheads are absorbed on the basis of direct labor hours, while other overheads are recovered on the basis of 20% of production cost. So I think for production overheads, labor hour rate will be the base, and other overheads can be directly calculated by applying 20%. Profit is calculated at the rate of 20% of sale price. Profit is calculated at 20% of sale price. Then we have budgeted information. I think X, Y, Z is material. So opening closing stock of material at standard price. We do have information about production overheads and labor hours. Then we have finished goods information, opening, closing, as well as sales. And that's the end of your first question. What is asked? First one is production budget and the second one is purchase budget. See and understand one thing. Even if they would have asked for purchase budget, I would have still gone for production budget first. Even if they would have asked for purchase budget, I would have first gone for production budget, because unless you go for production, you can't find out anything related to material. So again, we are back to the same old chart. Your entire functional budget calculation is based on this chart. This is what we are supposed to implement. Now look at the question. We need to find out sales budget. And in my last question, my quantity sold was given. In this question, my quantity sold is not given. Okay, can you see any selling price given in the question? Even selling price we don't have, but yes, we can see two different types of cost structures. I think we have cost structure of A as well as B. We have profitability given. So I think we are in the third category, where we can determine the selling price and we can apply it later. So I'm going for that. I have two different types of products, A and B. I have two different types of products, A and B. And I have different cost structure made available in the question. So I'll go for statement of cost per unit calculation. This will help me out in determining selling price. So statement of selling price, A, B, A and B. I know that I need three different types of materials. I need three different types of materials, and 48, 50, 30. 48, 50, 30 is a material cost for A. 60, 40, 60. 60, 40, 60 is the material cost for B. 128, 160. Two types of labor. Unskilled and skilled. Skilled. 30, 30. 15, 25. 15, 25. So 60, 40. 188, 200 is my prime cost. I don't. Production overheads to be recorded. First line after the table clearly tells me that my overheads, production overheads, are to be absorbed based on labor hours. So I'm going for working note 1. Production overheads absorption rate. Production overhead absorption rate. Budgeted fixed overheads upon budgeted labor hours. Budgeted overheads are given to be 9 lakhs, labor hours are given to be 75,000. So 9 lakhs is the cost to be recovered, 75,000 is the time, so 12 per hour is absorption rate. Now in terms of unskilled, or in terms of A, I would say A requires 10 of unskilled and 6 of skilled. A requires 10 of unskilled. A requires 10 of unskilled, 6 of skilled, 16 hours at 192. B requires 5 of skilled, 5 of unskilled. B requires 5 of skilled, 5 of unskilled, 10 hours into 12. So 192 and 120. This will be my production cost. So 200, so 380 and 320 will be my cost of production. There is no admin given directly. So the same thing will be called as cost of production. Other overheads. Other overheads are given to be 20% of production cost. 20% of production cost. This is my production cost. This is my production cost. So now I have A and B to be recorded. Now I have A and B to be recorded. I have my total cost structure. $456, $384. Then some profit will give me selling price. And your profit is 20%. Your profit is 20% on sales. So whenever your sales is 100, profit is 20. So your cost has to be 80. So this cross multiplication will give you selling prices. 456 divided by 80%. 570. 480. I'm I'm not interested in knowing the profit and all. If you want, you can find it out as a balancing figure. I'm least bothered to even answer that information. My statement is not statement of profit, it is statement of selling price. I'm not interested in that. If you want, you can find it out. Okay, so I started with this. I started with cost per unit, I added profit, and suddenly I'm here. That means I can find out. That means now I can find out quantity to be sold. And B. How much is the sales given? How much is the sales given? 13 lakh 68, 15 lakh 36. 13 lakh 68, 15 lakh 36 divided by respective selling prices. I want to earn so much at this selling price. 13 lakh 68 upon 570. 2,400 units are required to be sold. 15 lakh 36 divided by 480. 3,200 units. So we got to know this part, sales budget. So we got to know sales part. We were here. We found out selling price. The moment we found out selling price, we got the quantity. And the moment we get quantity, we can easily go for the production budget. We can easily go for the production budget. Now for production budget, you need quantity structure. For production budget, you need quantity structure. 2,400 units and 3,200 units. I'm going for production budget. Production of finished goods. So finished goods columns are required. A and B. Quantity to be sold is just now calculated 2,400, 3,200. We need to add closing stock. We need to subtract opening stock. And this will give me quantity to be produced. Now the real problem is I do not have quantity structure, but I do have cost structure. I know the value of opening stock and closing stock, and we all know that closing and opening stock of finished goods both are valued at production cost. So we will first determine quantity structure here as working note 2. In that, first we'll go for finished products. In that, first we'll go for opening stock. A and B. How much is opening stock valuation? A and B opening stock 152, 256. 152, 256. Stock is always valued at production cost. I hope you know this part. Opening stock at production cost per unit. I hope this is clear. Then I have closing stock A, B, 190, 352, 190, 352. This will fulfill my quantity requirement. 152 divided by 380. 400 units. 800 units. 500 units. And 1100 units. Now I have opening closing stock both. Even closing is valued at production cost per unit. You already know this part. So closing stock 500 and 1100. Opening stock 400, 800. So 2500 and 3500 will be required to be produced. Opening closing stock both are an outcome of working note 2. Both are an outcome of working note 2. That was the first part asked. I wanted production budget. For production budget, I wanted sales quantity. It was not given, so I found out the selling price. I applied that selling price on required sales figure. I had sales figure, I had selling price. I could get quantity to be sold plus closing minus opening tells me that my quantity to be produced is 2500 and 3500. How did I get quantity structure? It is not given in the question. We found it out. Quantity structure of finished goods at production cost. I valued everything. Have a glance on this so that we can proceed. Have a glance on this so that we can proceed. Have a glance on working note 2 and production budget. Now, just like this, we are also supposed to calculate quantity structure of raw material. We are also supposed to know quantity structure of raw material. And we already have price of material. X can be purchased at 2, Y is at 5, Z is at 6. So, just like this, we can also determine value of X, Y, quantity of X, Y, Z. Then we can go for even closing stock of X, Y, Z. Look at the opening stock, 60,000, 1,25,000, 72. 60,000, 1,25,000 and 72. 70, 135, 75. 70, 135, 75. 2, 5, 6 are the prices. 2, 5, 6. X is at 2, Y is at 5, Z is at 6. So 30,000 kgs, or I would say material in terms of kgs, 30,000, 25,000, 12,000, 35,000, 27,000, 12,500. With this, I have my material structure ready, which can be used for preparing material budget, which can be used for preparing material budget, which can be used for preparing material budget. Material may, they have asked us to go for purchase budget. And purchase budget, purchase cannot be determined unless we know the consumption. Okay, we already have 25 and 35 as production quantity. 2500, 3500 as production quantity. Now I am going for raw material. Now I am going for raw material purchase budget. But before I go for purchase, I need to know the consumption pattern. So, raw material consumption. Now see, since I'm going for material, I'm going for material columns, X, Y, Z. We need X, Y, Z for producing 2500 units of A and 3500 units of B. 3500 units of A. Look at the consumption pattern. 24 and 30. 24 and 30 is the requirement of X. 10 and 8 is the requirement of Y. 5 and 10. 5 and 10 is the requirement of Z. So for 2500 units of finished goods, my requirement is going to be 60,000 kgs of X, 25,000 kgs of Y, 12,500 kgs of Z. My XYZ are also required for producing B, where I am planning to produce 3,500. So 1,05,000, 28,000, 35,000. One lakh 65, 53, 47,500 is the total quantity to be consumed. I need XYZ for producing A and B. A and B, so many units are to be produced. This is a consumption of A and B. This is a consumption of XYZ. After consumption, I want stock of 35,000, 27,000, 12,500. This much I should purchase. No. I still have, at this point of time, I'm having 30,000, 25,000 and 12,000. So basically my need is buy 170, buy 55, buy 50. This is my quantity to be purchased in terms of kgs. Purchase price to be 2, 5 and 6. So my working note 2 gives me quantity structure, and my last line will give me cost structure. 3,40,000, 3 lakhs, 2,75,000. So total material to be purchased. Total material to be purchased is 9,15,000. So as usual, raw material consumption and purchase budget. We may write them separately, consumption and purchase, but they are same. Because the moment you get consumption, you can easily find out purchase. The moment you get purchase, you can easily apply price to know the ultimate cost structure. What is asked in the question? In the question, you're supposed to prepare production and purchase budget. I think that part is already done. Any doubt? So after production budget, you copy working note 2. It's like, the other part of working note 2. You have raw material consumption budget and purchase budget for you. Have a glance on this. So you know what is to be done. Simply follow this chart. There is nothing to be done apart from following this chart. Okay, so my next question, question number 6. No, question number 5. I'm sorry, question number 5. ACE Limited manufactures 3 products, A, C and E, in 2 production departments, F and G, in each of which are employed 2 grades of labor. The cost accountant is preparing the annual budget for the next year, and he has asked you to prepare, using the data given below, labor cost budget. We are supposed to go for labor cost budget. Doesn't matter. Even if it is labor cost budget, we'll have to first go for sales, then we'll have to go for production. We'll not take this route now, we'll take this route, hours required and labor budget. That means anyhow, I need to first prepare sales budget. That means anyhow, I need to find out sales quantity first. I need to find out sales quantity first. Look at the data given. Stock is given 7,20,000, 5,40,000, 18 lakhs. December, 31st December closing stock. All stock are valued at standard price per unit, standard cost per unit. That means we can find out quantity as well. Standard profit calculated 20%, 25%, 16 to 30%. Even the quantity structure is given to me. The profit structure is given to me. Total sales is made available. South, west, north. See, I'm not concerned with the breakup. I'm not concerned with the geographical location of sales. I'm just concerned with how much is the total sales. How much is my total sales? 4,200, 42 lakhs, 38 lakhs and 1 crore 80,000. Normal rejection is given, and then I have standard labor time per unit and rate. I have labor time per unit as well as the rate. Standard time as well as rate. I can see 4 different rates. Grade 1 in F at 1.80. Grade 2 in F at 1.60. Grade 1 in department G 2. Grade 2 in department G 1.8. That means there are 4 different rates. So basically there are 4 different categories of workers to be planned. Doesn't matter. My first calculation will always be finding out quantity to be sold. Is quantity sold given? No. I think we have sales value. I think we have sales value, and I think we have selling price as well. No, we have a cost structure given. Okay. With the help of that cost structure, we will be able to find out selling price. So let's go for selling price determination. Statement of selling price. Since I'm going for selling price, I'm going for finished goods, and there are 3 types of finished goods: A, C and B. A, C, E. A, C and E. We have cost, then we have profit, and selling price. How much is the selling price? How much is the cost? The cost is 24, 15, 20. 24, 15, 20. And the profit is 20%, 25%, 16 2/3. 20%, 25%, 16 2/3 is 16.67. Everything is given based on percentage. That means whenever sales is 100, profit is 20, cost will be 80. Sales is 100, profit is 25, cost will be 75. Okay, so that gives me the selling price as 30, 20 and 24 if I'm not wrong. 20 divided by 83.33. 24, yeah. So I had cost, I applied profit. Now I'm suddenly in the second situation. I have a selling price available. See, I'm not changing the chart. Same chart is used. I can go for quantity to be sold. A, C, E. Sales department wise given. I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with total. 42, 38, 42, 38, 1 crore 80 lakhs. 1 crore 80,000. 30, 20 and 24. 1,40,000 units to be sold of A. 1,90,000 units to be sold of B. And 4,20,000 units to be sold of C. E. A, C and E. 1,40,000 units of A, 1,90,000 units of C, 4,20,000 units of E. This is what we have. Correct? So, I'm here. I want to go here. Okay, so I need to know the production budget. And if I want to know the production budget, I should be knowing, if I want to know the production budget, I should be knowing the format. A, C, E. Quantity to be sold 1,40,000, 190. Closing stock. I think we don't have this quantity. Opening stock quantity is also not available, but yes, we know how to get it done. We have done that in the previous calculation. See, we have value available, so that value will be considered as a base. So I'll go for quantity structure of finished goods. उसमें भी I'll first go for opening stock. Opening stock of A, opening stock of C, opening stock of E. How much is the value given? Opening 7,20,000, 72, 54, 180, 72, 54, and it is clearly given that all these stock are valued at their standard price, and we already know the standard price as 24, 15 and 20. 30,000 units. $72. This will be 3 lakh units. $3 lakh units. 3,60,000 units. Oh, 720,000 it is. 7,20,000 upon 24. 30,000, 54, 36,000 units, and 90,000 units. 72, 54, 180. Similarly, you can also find out closing stock quantity in terms of units. A, C, E. 600, 570,000. 600, 570, 1,000. Again, standard price, standard cost structure is given to be the base. So 6 lakhs divided by 24. 25,000, 570, 38, 50, 50,000. So 25, 38, 50, 25, 38, 50, 30, 36, 90, 30, 36, 90, 1,35,000, 1,92,000, 3,80,000. Required quantity. So my production budget goes this way. My production budget goes this way. This is what I need. But there is one more information given in the question. Question says that there is some rejection, 10%, 20%, 5%. Rejection means if I produce 100 units of A, 10 units will be rejected, 90 will be usable. 10% rejected, 90% usable. Guys, 90% usable means, समझ रहे हो आप? If you want 90, you will have to produce 100. If you want 900, you will have to produce 1000. If you want 9 lakhs, you will have to produce 10 lakhs because 10% of production will be lost. That means quantity to be produced before rejection. A, how much is rejected? 10%. So 100 minus 10. This has to be 90%. To produce 1,50,000. Because if you produce 1,50,000, 10%, यानी कि 15,000 will be lost and usable quantity will be 135. AC. Usable is 92. How much is the wastage expected? Rejection expected 20%. So 1,92,000 is 80%. 2,40,000. E. Rejection is only 5%. So 95% will be usable. 3,80,000 upon 95%. 4 lakh units. So if you produce 4 lakhs, 5%, yani ke 20,000 will be lost. Usable will be 380. If you produce 2,40,000 of C, 20% will be lost. So 48,000 out of 2,40,000 will be rejected. Balance 192 is the required quantity. 1,50,000 you produce, 10% will be lost. 15,000 will be rejected. Balance 1,35,000 will be your usable quantity. This is what we need. Now trust me, this is not an answer, because they have asked us to prepare a labor budget. Just now we have reached at this level. We have reached at this level. We have just found out quantity. Now based on those quantities, we will find out the consumption, the labor requirement budget. And I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 different types of workers. See, actually speaking, I have only 2, grade 1, grade 2. But if you see the rates are different. I'm going for labor budget. Please concentrate here. Labor budget, department F, department G. Department F, department G. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 1, grade 2. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 1, grade 2. Since their rates are different, I'm treating all 4 as different categories. I need these workers for actually producing 1,50,000 units of A, 2,40,000 units of C, and 4 lakh units of E. And look at the consumption pattern. Hey, I need 4 different categories for producing 3 different types of finished goods. And just now we have found out that this is a quantity required to be produced. This is a quantity required to be produced. Now in that case, look at the requirement. 2, 1.5, 3 and 2. 2, 1.5, 2, 1.5, 3 and 2 is the time required for producing A. Now you are producing 1,50,000 units of A, so you can easily find out number of hours required for A. That comes to 3 lakhs, 2,25,000, 4,50,000, 3 lakhs. You also have consumption pattern for C, 3, 2, 1, 1.5, 3, 2, 1, 1.5, 3, 2, 1 and 1.5, where my total requirement would be 7,20,000 hours, 4,80,000 hours, 2,40,000 hours, 3,60,000. 24 के 24 मतलब 20,000. Yes. I also need all four categories of workers. 1, 1.5, 1, 2.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 1, 1.5, 2, it's not 2, it's 1, 1, 1.5, 1 and 2.5. So here my number of hours are going to be 4 lakhs, 6 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 10 lakhs. This gives me the total requirement of grade 1. 14,20,000 hours. 13,05,000 hours. Yeah. 10,90,000. 16,60,000 hours required. Now I can apply the rate. What is the rate available? What is the rate available? 1.8, 1.6, 2, 1.8. 1.6, 1.8, 1.6, 2, 2, 1.8. 14,20,000 into 1.8, 25,56,000, 1305 into 1.6, 20,88,000, 46,44,000 is for department F. 1090 into 2, 21,80,000, 29,88. Excuse me. 29,88. $98,12,000 is my total labor cost. This is department F, this is department G, This is total. So many different categories of workers I need for producing these three products. So these are my hours requirement. Had there been same rates, I would have clubbed this grade 1, grade 2 together. Grade 1 of FG, grade 2 of FG. But rates are different, so it is as good as you have different categories of workers. 4 types of workers, 4 different columns. This is my labor cost. Individual of F, individual of G. So we have individual, then department wise and overall 98,12,000. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. This is what my labor budget is. Again, quantity sold was not available. I found out. Selling price was also not available. Okay, I found out selling price. I applied selling price. I got the quantity to be sold. Add closing, less opening. We did not have even that. So we found out quantity structure based on the data given. We got to know closing stock quantity, opening stock quantity. We applied it here. We got the required quantity. But for getting this, you need to produce more because of rejection. Before rejection, you need this. So your production, your labor is required for this, not for something which is going to get used. Your labor is required for this. Department 1, Department F, Department G, F1, FG, F and G में grade 1, grade 2 are 4 different categories because of 4 different rates available. This is what we have. This is what we are supposed to do. Yes. So we'll solve one more question related to this. See, we started budgetary control with flexible budget, 5 levels, then 1 fixed budget. Then we started with a wholesome question of sales, production, consumption, purchase. We also found out profit for the quarter and all. Then we solved one question where we started with sales, then production, then consumption, purchase. The last question that we solved was on labor, sales, production, hours required and labor. Let us proceed with one more variety. Question number 6. The following data relate to product A. The following data relate to product A. Budgeted data of A. Sales division is given 1, 2 and 3. Division wise sales is given. We are actually not concerned with division wise sales, we are concerned with total sales. I am expecting sales of rupees 60,000, 3 lakh 60, 2 lakh 40. That means I am expecting a sales of rupees 6 lakh 60,000. I have some opening stock as well as closing stock. Okay. Sales and production occur evenly throughout, evenly each month. Stock of finished goods be increased to maximum level by 1st of April. Okay. So maximum unit stock can be taken as closing stock now. Now that is just because it is given specifically. They could have told me closing stock can be 80% of maximum level stock. Then I would have taken closing stock as 80%. Then I would have taken closing stock of 80% of maximum level. Next. Stock of finished goods to be increased to maximum level. Standard data, direct material DM1, DM2 with consumption and price wages, DW1, DW2 with consumption and price. Production overhead is absorbed at the rate of, at labor hour rate at the rate of 12 in case of DW1 and 10 in case of DW2. Your admin overheads are also given, admin and selling are also available, 20% of production cost. Profit is calculated at 10% of selling price. Profit is calculated at 10% of selling price. Direct material DM1, DM2, maximum consumption, minimum consumption, economic order quantities, stock on 31st December. Lead time. Lead time is given for DM1 as well as DM2. We have maximum, we have minimum. We can easily find out average if the need arises. Sales director has requested that stock of finished goods be increased to maximum level by 1st of April. You are required to prepare the following budgets for the 3 months ending 31st March 2016. Again, we are supposed to go for production budget and purchase budget. Guys, you are supposed to go for production budget. What do you need for production budget? What do you need for production budget? You need, for production budget, you need quantity to be sold. And for quantity to be sold, you need to have sales value as well as selling price. Now we don't have selling price given in the question. So just like my past few questions, I will have to first go for selling price determination. I will have to first go for selling price determination. I have cost structure available. I will first go for material DF1, DM2. I have two types of materials, DM1, DM2, 10 and 5, 3 and 2. 10 and 5, 3 and 2. $40 is material cost. Labor. DW1, DW2. DW1, DW2. We have data in terms of hours. 5 hours, 2 hours. 5 hours, 2 hours. 4 and 5 respective rates. 4 and 5, 20, 10, 30. We have prime cost of 70. DW1, DW2. Production overheads are given based on labor hours. Production overheads are given based on labor hours, and labor hours are already available 5 and 2. Simply take overhead absorption rate 12 and 10. 12 and 10. So 60, 20, 60, 20, 80, and I can say production cost is 150. Production cost is 150. I think selling and admin. Selling and admin overheads are 20% of production cost. It is 20% of production cost. Add profit. Will decide selling price. Profit percentage is also available, 10% on selling price. Whenever sales is 100, profit is 10, cost will be 90, reverse direction. So your selling price is going to be 200 rupees. As usual, step 1 over 200 rupees. So my quantity to be sold, I need to divide total sales by selling price. 60,000, 3,60,000, 2,40,000 is the total sales. So 6,60,000 3,300 units. 6,60,000 is the total sales required to be earned. 200 is the selling price, so 3,300 units are required to be sold. Naturally, my production budget says it should start with quantity to be sold closing stock. Now for closing stock, question has clearly told you that maximum level should be reached. So 150, 500, 350. 150, 500, 350. So 1,000 minus opening stock. 100, 350, 250. 100, 350, 250. 700. So I would say after selling 3,300, I should have a stock of 1,000. So 4,300 should be the quantity. But I did not purchase 4,300. I did not produce 4,300 because I already have 700. So I should produce 3,600 in that quarter. So quantity to be produced per month 3,600 upon 3 months 1,200 units. We always need quantity sold. It was not given, but the cost structure was available. So we made the cost structure available. We prepared the cost structure. And when we were preparing the cost structure, we made this selling price calculation. Selling price we calculated just like my previous question, or last two questions I would say. The moment I got the selling price, I could find out sales But I realize that sales is given for quarter. Now I don't want quarterly sales because my purchase can happen on a monthly basis, no? So I got to know that 3,600 units are to be produced over a period of one quarter. So for one quarter consists of 3 months. So per month requirement is quantity to be produced per month is 1,200. This is what my production budget is all about. Have a glance on this. Now, the next part, purchases. Now for purchases, we need consumption. So raw material consumption budget. Raw material consumption budget. I have two types of materials, DM1 and DM2. I need 10 kgs of DM1 and 5 kgs of DM2 for I need 10 kgs of DM1 and 5 kgs of DM2 for producing one unit. If you want 1200 to be produced, that means 12,000 kgs per month and 6,000 kgs per month is going to be the requirement. 12,000 kgs 12,000 kgs per month and 10,000 kgs per month. 12,000 and 6,000 kgs per month is the requirement, raw material consumption. But see, unlike your previous questions, this is not a question where you can actually apply that consumption formula. See, I would have actually gone for quantity to be consumed first. I would have gone for consumption. I would have added closing stock to that. Then I would have subtracted opening stock. I would have found out consumption, I would have added closing stock, I would have subtracted opening stock, and then I would have calculated purchase quantity, then I would have applied the rate and I would have finished it off. That is when you don't have a specific quantity restriction. If you read the question carefully, you can see EOQ. Since there is EOQ given, random purchase is not possible. Random purchase is not possible. Random purchase is not possible means you can't purchase any quantity the way we were purchasing in the earlier questions. If you want, you have to order for EOQ. If you want to buy, it has to be EOQ. You can't buy anything else. You can't order anything else. That means since EOQ is given, comma, random purchase is not possible. That means only EOQ can be ordered, and that too at a reorder level. two things. This question is giving you two hints. One, you cannot go for random purchase because I can see EOQ. If at all I want to buy, I can buy only EOQ, not any other quantity. And that means if I have to follow EOQ, guys, that indicates, if I have to follow EOQ, that indicates that EOQ must be ordered only at reorder level. You can't order it anytime. So since EOQ is given, random purchase is not possible. Only EOQ can be ordered, and that too at reorder level. So let's understand what is a reorder level for DM1 and DM2. In the absence of information, we always go for conservative formula. My conservative formula says my maximum consumption is going to be 3,600 and 1,800. My maximum consumption is going to be 3,600 and 1,800. And I know the maximum lead time is also 6 weeks and 5 weeks. 6 weeks and 5 weeks. So 21,600 kgs, 21,600 kgs and 9,000 kgs is going to be the reorder level. $3,600 kgs into 6 weeks is equal to 21,600 kgs. DM1, 3,600 kgs into 6 weeks and 1,800 kgs into 5 weeks. How did you get it? Maximum consumption into maximum lead time. Maximum consumption into maximum lead time. So if at all I want to order, I have to order at reorder level. And if at all I'm ordering, that quantity has to be EOQ. No other quantity can be ordered. No other quantity can be ordered. So now I can go for my consumption budget. But my consumption budget will be very strict and it will be very particular, and it has to be on monthly basis. And it has to be on monthly. And it has to be on monthly basis. It has to be on monthly basis. So for monthly calculation, I have to be alert. Why suddenly monthly calculation? Your requirement for each month is going to be constant. Your requirement for each month is going to be constant. You have to consume 12,000 and 6,000. You have to consume 12,000 and 6,000. But you cannot purchase randomly. You have to follow EOQ, and it may so happen that in some month you may cross reorder level, you may not cross reorder level. I'll explain everything. Concentrate here. I'm going for raw material purchase budget. Since I have two materials, DM1, DM2, I'm going for the first month, and that's Jan, how much is the opening stock? Closing stock of December is opening stock of January. 13,000, 9,900. 13,000 and 9,900. Then I will add purchase, which has to be EOQ. I know the consumption pattern. Each month I need 12,000 and 6,000 to be consumed, which will give me closing stock here. Closing stock of Jan will be opening stock of Feb. Closing stock of Jan will be opening stock of Feb. Then I will write purchase only at EOQ, which may or may not happen because this is dependent on ROL. But yes, my consumption of 12,000 and 6,000 will remain intact. My consumption of 12,000 and 6,000 will remain intact to give me closing stock of Feb, which will also be termed as opening stock of March. I will add purchase to this. EOQ. Consumption is the only thing which is constant because of evenly production. I know each month I am supposed to consume 12,000 and 6,000. Each month I am supposed to consume 12 and 6. Let's decide the balance part. How much is EOQ of DM1? EOQ of DM1 is 21,600. EOQ of DM1 is 21,600. I'm at 13,000. EOQ is 21,600. I am at 13,000. That means, can I say I must have touched reorder level long back? If I have 50,000 kgs of DM1, down, first I will hit 21,600, then I will place an order for EOQ and consumption will still continue, and then comes 1st of Jan, 13,000. That means if I am here, can I say I have touched reorder level long back? I have reached reorder level long back. If I have reached reorder level long back, I must have placed order for EOQ also long back. You see the normal lead time available for DM1. It is on an average 5 weeks. On an average 5 weeks means 1 month. If I have already placed order long back in the month of December, I will get fresh lot of material purchase in the month of Jan. Alright guys, on 31st December I am at 13. That means I must have hit reorder level long back in the month of December. I must have hit reorder level long back in the month of December. That means I must have produced. That means I must have already placed order long back in the month of December. After considering the lead time, I can clearly say that I will be getting the fresh lot of DM1 in the month of Jan. And that fresh lot will be compulsorily for 20,000 units because this is reorder level. This is EOQ. You can't change that. You can't change that. We are below reorder level. That means reorder level is hit long back in December. Order must have been placed long back in the month of December. After considering lead time, something which is ordered in the month of December must be delivered within 1 month. That means it will be delivered in Jan. So Jan will show this purchase. I can't buy any other quantity, so I have to go for EOQ. I don't have a choice. Next, reorder level for DM2. Reorder level for DM2. Reorder level for DM2 is 9,000. We are at 9,900. We are at 9,900. We are supposed to place order at 9,000. That means we are above reorder level. That means we have not placed any order. We won't be getting any material here, because we'll be touching reorder level in the month of Jan. And see the average lead time, 4 weeks. At least 1 month it will take. So you will not be getting material in the same month. So 21,000, 3,900. Now see, reorder level here is 21,600. Reorder level of DM2 is 9,000. In both the cases, I have touched reorder level in the month of Jan. That means I must have placed order also in the month of Jan. And after considering lead time, which is approximately 1 month, I will be receiving fresh lot of 20,000 and 12,000. I don't have any other choice. I will be getting fresh lot of 20,000 and 12,000. I'll be getting a fresh lot of 20,000 and 12,000 in the month of Jan itself, in the month of Feb itself. This is Jan, this is Feb, and this is March. Now, we are yet to cross reorder level. We are yet to cross reorder level. If we are yet to cross reorder level, I have not placed any order in the month of Feb, so nothing will be delivered in the month of March. Nothing will be delivered in the month of March. 17,000 is the closing stock. 3,900 is the closing stock. So that's my closing stock of raw material. I hope you understood this part. Since the reorder level is 21,600, I am hitting reorder level in December, I can get a fresh lot. I am hitting reorder level somewhere back in the month of Jan, I will be getting material within 1 month. I'm not hitting reorder level, so I have not placed any order in the month of Feb. So the question of getting material in the month of March does not arise for DM1. As far as DM2 is concerned, I am above reorder level. That means I will reach at reorder level somewhere in the month of Jan. So there is nothing order in the month of December. So I'm not receiving anything. But yes, 9,900 was my beginning stock in the beginning, opening stock in the month of Jan. So naturally, consumption, if taken care of, if it is considered, it will definitely hit my reorder level, which is 9,000 in the month of Jan. 1 month is a lead time. I will get fresh lot, just like DM1. Even in case of DM2, I'll get a fresh lot in the month of Feb. I don't have a choice to order anything else. I have to place an order for EOQ. Then I'm above break-even point. Since I'm above break-even point, rather I'm above reorder level. Since I'm above reorder level, I'm not going to place any order. I'm not going to place any order, and since I'm not going to place any order, I'm above break even, I'm above reorder level. If I'm above reorder level, I have not placed any order in the month of Feb because I'm yet to hit reorder level. So I'll be hitting reorder level in the month of March. So nothing is ordered in Feb, nothing will be delivered in March. Something is ordered in March will be delivered in April. So there is no purchase, there is no receipt. We have been asked to go for purchase budget. So this was purchase budget in terms of quantity, and now we'll have to go for raw material purchase budget in terms of value, in terms of rupees. In the month of Jan, I should know that I need to pay for 20,000 kgs of DM1. In the month of Feb, I must know that I'm supposed to pay for 20,000 kgs of DM1 and 12,000 kgs of DM2. I don't need any budget planning for the third month because I'm not buying anything. DM1 is available for 3 and DM2 is available for 2 rupees. So rupees 3, rupees 2 is equal to 60,000 and 84,000. 84,000 in the first month, 84 in 60,000 in the first month, 84,000 in the second month. So my total purchase cost would be 60,000 plus 84,000, 1,44,000. And that's my purchase budget for Jan as well as Feb. I'm not buying anything in the month of March, so I'm not going for it. I hope this is this is understood. From this stage onwards, the solution takes a twist. It takes a turn. After this, we would have normally gone for purchase budget. This consumption plus closing minus opening, we would have got the purchase quantity, but we can't purchase any random quantity. Since EOQ is given, random purchase is not possible. That means only EOQ can be ordered, and that too at reorder level. So we should know reorder level. And we realize that in the month of Jan and Feb, on the first day of Jan and Feb, DM1 had crossed reorder level. That means material was already ordered in the previous month. So we have received material in the current month. Whereas DM2, when I talk about DM2 had not crossed reorder level here. So nothing was ordered earlier. We are crossing reorder level in the month of Jan. We are crossing reorder level in the month of Jan. So we'll be placing order in the month of Jan and material will be delivered in the month of Feb. Now here I'm already above reorder level. I was above reorder level. So nothing is ordered in the previous month. Nothing is ordered in the previous month. Nothing will be received in the current month. Here I am below reorder level. That means something must have ordered in the previous month that is delivered here after considering the lead time. This is what we have in budgetary control. Now guys, understand one thing. You just simply stick to the chart. For fixed, flexible, break your cost structure. Variable, fixed, heavy, variable. For variable, focus on CPU. For fixed, focus on total. If there is a change, change CPU. If there is no change, follow CPU. If there is a fixed cost, focus on total. If there is a fixed cost, focus on total. If there is a change, change total. If there is no change, follow the total. Variable cost, change or follow CPU. Fixed cost, change or follow total. That's all you're supposed to understand. For more than one level, flexible. Only for one level, fixed. Keep it aside. Your functional budget calculation is completely based on that chart. Sales, production, consumption, purchase, sales, production, hours, labor, sales, production, hours, overheads. And sales quantity will also be calculated with the help of either it will be given, or it will be sales divided by selling price, or it will be sales divided by cost per unit plus profit. So either you decide your selling price and then calculate the cost. Either you decide your cost structure and then calculate the selling price, then take sales divided by selling price, get the quantity and follow. 90% of your functional budget questions can be solved with the help of the chart given by me. You can apply it to any question that you have solved. Only one question as far as your knowledge is concerned will not be applicable for that. The one which is solved in JKSC material, where contribution is used as a base, which is there in the study material also. That is the only question which will not be fit in this process, but only for sales. Baki rest everything is same. Rest everything is same. You can solve any functional budget question. Do try this at home. Find out different questions and try to form them in this format. Sales, production, consumption, purchase. Any question can be solved. Trust me. It is as simple as that. So that was the end of budgetary control. Our helplines are already open for you. Whenever you need us, we are always there. You can approach us to any of the JKSC branches. You can see the timetable and you can figure out when costing lecture is going on in a branch, and you can meet the concerned faculty. The faculty may not be the one who has taught you, but that doesn't matter. We all help other students also. So it doesn't matter. Even if you are outside JKSC, it doesn't matter. You can come, you can visit JKSC premises, meet costing faculty, will help you out. So whether you are JKSC student or not, that doesn't matter. For us, there is only one thing that matters, and that is you are a student. So please, if you have any query, any doubt, let me know. Let my team know. We all work as a team, so we will be solving each other's doubts related to each other's topic as well. Okay? Have a nice time. Take care. Study hard. All the best.